Hi, I'm Dyna Vink, and I'm the Communications Manager at the Canadian Research Knowledge Network. CRKN is a not-for-profit organization that's based on a partnership of 73 Canadian universities for the purpose of negotiating national site licenses for the acquisition of digital research content. Shortly after joining CRKN, I took over the management of our first ever virtual AGM. So I had a vision on how to do this, and what I wanted to do was to host this event by leveraging the technology to its best advantage. So that involved four things. First, I wanted to increase accessibility to beyond just the voting members. I wanted to emulate a learning environment that would be natural in a face-to-face meeting. I wanted to generate enough interest to have quorum at the business meeting that's a natural component of the AGM. And finally, I wanted to save our members money. So my needs boiled down to quite a few things. I had 25 hours of programming over 4 days. I had to cover 6 time zones. I had to do this in 2 official languages. We had 19 speakers in 11 different locations, and I had to have authenticated voting capability for the business meeting. We're seeing a number of basic web conferences, so I had a pretty good idea that the technology was out there to satisfy my vision. But I had to call 10 companies before I found Pragmatic conferencing. As soon as I explained that vision to Peter, he listened carefully, he asked some really good questions, and then he turned around a proposal that could have been written by me. It just made sense. So although we only had 5 weeks to prepare, we put together a timeline and then worked away at it from both ends. I created an AGM web page, and it had an event-specific masthead, which we shared with the webcasting site at Pragmatic. We sorted out a registration system to accommodate the authenticated voting process. I delivered all the content. We established a speaker training that took into account all the different timelines and availabilities of our 19 speakers. We tested the broadcasting capability, and we also tested the local audio system. The execution went really smoothly. For most of the sessions, we were able to bring the speakers online for a sound check in advance and to make sure they were on the right webcast page, because there were 24 of them after all. But there were the inevitable problems. There were some voting members who hadn't read all the instructions properly and who landed in the non-voting site. And I was prepared to just let them sit it out. But no, the Pragmatic team was able to switch all of our lost members using the authorized voting list as validation. So they really went above and beyond what I had expected. But it was only Pragmatic that wanted to work through all this with me, and they provided really innovative service and excellent solutions. So all in all, we increased our attendance by 60% over last year's face-to-face meeting. We saved our members about $200,000 in travel costs. We saved 143 metric tons in carbon emissions, and that's the equivalent of about 16,000 gallons of gasoline that wasn't burned. We received a 75% satisfaction rating on our very first event of this type, and we generated a lot of new traffic to our website.